Many years ago, I contracted an intimacy with a Mr. William LeGrand, Edgar Allan Poe. The funny thing about this one line is that it could be taken straight out of my own life. Only, it wasn't an intimacy, it was more like a psychological nightmare. And my Mr. William LeGrand was Bob. Okay, so maybe the parallel isn't that deep, but neither was Bob. So I think I get some narrative license here. And no, this isn't going to be the tale about a bitter woman complaining about all men and all the evil ever done to her. I may throw some of that in, but it's purely for amusement, my own. It's hard for me to remember the exact moment I knew Bob wasn't for me. There were so many signs, so many indications, so many friends saying, this isn't the guy for you. But you see, I was the one woman out of my group of friends who was still single at 35, and it began to wear on me. I had gone through my days of, I am woman, hear me roar, I don't need a man, they smell. But when every get-together is punched with the line, oh yeah, this is really a couples thing, but we could totally fit a random, single, always alone person, it wears on you. You know, looking back, I ought to have known Bob shouldn't have made it past the first date. We went to an Italian restaurant that I chose. My mother always said, on a first date, choose a restaurant you love, because at least the food will be good. And to order scotch, the expensive kind, and plenty of it. You can tell a lot from a date's reaction to your ordering scotch. Yeah, and you get drunk really fast and make bad decisions. But that part, I never discussed with my mother. So we were halfway through dinner when I realized that half of Bob's plate was on his face. I was having a hard time concentrating on the conversation because all I could focus on was this large blob of sauce sitting on his upper lip. He laughed, it jiggled. I mean, really, can you not feel that? This is a first date. Aren't we all hyper aware of ourselves on a first date? I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And then, I kid you not, he picks up a piece of bread and proceeds to wipe his entire mouth with it. Had it been a napkin, Bob would have given it up for a lost cause, but no, because it was food, Bob ate it. Still in shock, I barely noticed the breadstick that he was using to scratch an itch in his ear. A breadstick! You know, even telling the story now, I realize I should have politely ended the date there. But by that time, I had so much Balvenie 12-year in me, thanks, Mom, that I actually thought it was cute. Cute! You know, I don't want to blame the scotch. It's not here to defend itself, but I really think it played a part. So that date turned into another, and then another. And we won't talk about the bottles of scotch gone through. Let's just say we were dating. He said he loved me. I became used to the fact that food was doubling as linen. And I became best friends with Jane, the neighborhood liquor store owner. But then the wedding happened. yeah, no, not my own. I'm drunk, not stupid. It was Jane's, actually. You know, weddings are full of possibilities. Everyone is seemingly happy, and this one had an open bar. The fact that I forgot to pick up Bob and didn't realize it till I was at the church shouldn't be seen as any sort of foreshadowing, right? And then it came to that part in the wedding reception that, to put it mildly, I absolutely detest. I am sure that every single person out here would agree with me on that, and if not, honey, you're repressing something. I am talking of all the single ladies to the dance floor, the bride is gonna toss her bouquet part. The only people happy about this tradition are the married women and the children, and the kids I give a pass to. You know, it is usually at this point in the evening that you will find me underneath the table, pretending I'm invisible, and believing that no one can hear me swearing. But on this night, I don't know what happened. I got excited, and I was running to the dance floor, kicking off my shoes and tripping over 6-year-olds left and right. And then I remember catching the eye of the best man, this tall, dark-haired, handsome stranger, and I started yelling, "I'm single! Yep, me, single and free!" And I go running into his arms. And then I remember Bob yelling at the top of his lungs, "Single lady, my ass!" And he grabs me by the wrist and drags me off the dance floor. And you know, I talked about signs and ignoring them and laugh if you will, but I also remember looking at Bob, smiling and puking in his face, and then tossing a basket of bread at him and yelling, "Care to clean yourself up?" You know, I'm not proud of that moment. Okay, I am. But I don't think Bob deserved it. You know, that was my moment. That was the moment I knew I was miserable. Edgar Allan Poe. He also said, "In our endeavors to recall to memory something long forgotten, we often find ourselves on the very verge of remembrance without being able, in the end, to remember." I haven't seen Bob in a long time, but when I do, I give him the common courtesy of being on the very verge of remembrance, and in the end, pretending not to.